Welcome to CommsVerse. This session is called Using Microsoft Teams for Customer Interaction, a Multi-Channel Approach with Peter Hobar. Go ahead, Peter.
Thank you very much. Welcome everyone on this session. Welcome to CommsVerse. I was asked to thank for all the sponsors, but we are also a proud sponsor of CommsVerse, our company Geomant. Today, I would like to talk about, as the title said, about an approach for customer interaction with the multi-channel also in the scope, not just the voice piece. And this is a Bazizi contact center for Microsoft Teams that I'm about to talk to you today. A very quick agenda. After a short introduction, introducing myself and the company, a really short introduction about the business context, because the majority of this presentation will be demonstrations. I would like to show you the product itself, so the demo, and then after we can have an architecture discussion and ready for Q&A, and we will have a follow-up session after this presentation. So my name is Peter Hobar. I'm the CTO and the CPO of Geomant. So I'm responsible for the, as we call, the manufacturing and also the go-to-market of our product as well. Let me introduce Geomant. Geomant is probably 20 years old. Unfortunately, this pandemic does not help us to celebrate this properly, but we have a long history of unified communication and contact centers. We had a long relationship with Microsoft. We were part of the initial TAP program on Link and OCS at that time. And we were the one who created the contact center for Skype for Business and Link as well, not just for Microsoft Teams. As you see, we also work with other UC vendors as well. And last year, we acquired Innova Solution, a US company, and they are representing us. So we are with them in the US market as well. So they are our sister company by now. So as mentioned, we are global. So we have offices all around the world and also big brand customers all around the world. So how we see the world, what is our vision? As you could see from the technologies and the expertise we have, we are enabling enterprises to succeed through effortless customer interaction with technologies of today and tomorrow. So basically, we are always focusing on helping others to have effortless interaction with their customers. So that is where the Teams Contact Center also fits in. So let's just spend a little time on the business context, why we believe it is important nowadays to talk about this. Let's start with how the customer engagement is changing and why we believe that this multi-channel approach that we are talking about is important. Very high percentage of the population already using smart devices, over-the-top applications, and it's a very good figure here that it's not just between consumers, people to people, friends to friends, but also consumers and the enterprises. 10 billion messages are exchanged on a messenger alone each month on the businesses. So we see that it's really boosting. And also this active user number is really impressive. But, and there is a big but, still it is very important not to neglect the original why it's called call center, because the call is still very important. Because not just because the traffic is still mainly coming through voice, but also because we know that those interactions that have been started on digital channels very often are escalated to voice, and that is why it is really important not just to focus on one specific channel, not just to focus on a social or digital channels, but also make sure that these are together with voice. And our motto is that voice is not to be replaced, but to be orchestrated within new channels and to complement with the digital, to be there hand by hand. On this conference, I don't think we need to spend too much time on why we believe it is relevant for the Teams ecosystem, because, well, we all could see that it was boosting even before the pandemic, but that really accelerated the growth. So that's why I purposely left these figures there, how fast that was, this slide became an outdated one. And Also, there is one thing that I would like to mention here, that what we also could see, looking at other UC vendors as well, that the adoption of Teams on the work from home environment was way faster and way easier than with other UC vendors. And they had issues with required VPN, all that kind of network issues, security issues, and all that kind of stuff. So that is why we really see the benefit, and as part of our business context, we think that having Teams is really important, and providing the contact center on top of this is important. And that is why we are positioning our contact center solution for Teams, where we are complementing the Teams feature set, and we provide the multi-channel contact center, adding voice and all the digital interactions as well. So let me quickly summarize what is the solution itself before we go into the demo. So what we have is we can support PSTN and SIP connectivity. We are using Teams direct routing to manage the voice traffic. We support basic call treatments like greetings and queue announcements and all that kind of stuff. But we also have an IVR for more sophisticated self-service type of solutions that is also can be added to the Teams contact center. We fully manage the agent state, and we provide scale, and actually even more, we call it attribute-based routing, because we have more granular routing logic than just simple having scales here. We do have a full user interface. I will show you that during the demonstration. That can be either in Teams or in a standalone in a browser. And we provide all those necessary features that are needed for a contact center, and that is helping those companies where the basic call queuing is not enough. That's part of Teams, and helping the supervisors to manage the contact center themselves. Also the wallboard is just helping not just the agents, but also the supervisors as well. In terms of the voice connectivity, we support fully cloud and hybrid model as well. I will cover that also on the architecture part of the session. So here we focused on in these bullet points on the specifically on the voice side and team voice side, but Bazizi is more, and we were initially coming from the digital channels. So we started first with self-service bots. We started with, as we call it, channel hub. So basically move from one channel to the other, and also full chat solution with all the social channels, Facebook Messenger, Twitter, Viber, WhatsApp, you name it, and simple web chat as well. And we provide Teams recording with the native Microsoft Teams recording that is powered by the Variant Verba solution that we also serve as a hosted solution. So that's also part of our offering. So let's just quickly start the demonstration, and I will explain the agent experience and also the admin and supervisor experience as well. So let's just get started. And what we see here is a Teams. So this being a Teams conference. So we have the Teams client here, and we have embedded this into a tab. And what we see is a real-time interface that shows the status from the calls perspective. So you see some statistics here on how many calls we had. And we also have here information about the agents. So we see that there are a few agents logged in. Everyone is on break. We see the break status, and also we see the time in this state as well. So this gives a good overview for both the agents and the supervisors about what's happening on the traffic. We do have BI, so I will get back to the BI later on. And we have the agent workspace as well embedded into Teams. So as you see, we have a user interface here. And that is where the agent can manage the statuses, and that's where the interactions are coming in. But this can be popped out. So we do support having this in the browser. And to be honest, until the apps can be popped out from the Teams client itself, this is the recommended approach. But this is all in sync. So you can have this open here as well. And if you change the status to another one, and I go back to there, then it will be exactly the same there. So let me just stay a little bit on break, and let me go to the statistics and show me my mobile from which I will place a call. So this is now dialing. So as you see, everyone is on break. So expect to think that this will go to a queue and we will see a waiting call. Here we go. So now I'm there. So the call is waiting. And I need to go back to the client and change my status to available. And once I did that you can see that immediately popped in to the application, our user interface, but also you can see the tools where I can answer the call. And once I answer the call, then the caller information is here, so I can see a quick history of this customer and some basic information about the customer. And on the left-hand side, we have the call handling, where I can manage the calls, like I can transfer, and I can transfer to an agent. But now all the agents are busy, so there is no agent to transfer this to. So let me just quickly go and change the other agent. Done. So it's already see that Adele is available. Yeah, here we go. She's available. So I could transfer the call to another agent. And this is through this user interface. I can transfer to another queue as well. So you see that here we have the queues listed. If I had more queues, then I can search here. And also I could search on the agents as well. And this will filter out. So now I search for team. I started to type team, but it's team T. But as you can see, the queues that has teams in the queue name are listed here, and I could transfer this call directly to that call from this user interface. So I don't need to go to Teams, but I do have. So let me open here that, and I can, if I hang up here, then we expect this call to be hung up on the mobile as well. Once I finish the call, I can provide a reason code for this call, and that will be stored next to this call and available for reporting. So that will show up in the reporting as well. So I'm back here again, waiting for a new interaction. If I come back to the statistics, you can see that the handled call increased. Service level is not that good, so I'm not that good yet. But there is an extra call. So let me then go on my mobile to WhatsApp and start a conversation on WhatsApp. So me as a customer, I'm just saying hello. And as you see, now we have an automated response from the bot. So at this point, we are talking to the bot. The agent is still available and waiting for interaction. And let me just ask how to reset my password. And then this is based on the Microsoft Q&A Maker that we have here. And we got the response with the link. So I can go ahead and have a look at that page that was coming as an answer from the FAQ. But if I want to, then I can ask for an agent, escalate this to an agent. And it's immediately popping up at the agent side, and the agent can see not just the customer information that we could see on the call as well, but we can also see the transcript, the history of the chat. And we do have suggested responses, AI-driven suggested responses. But the agent could see that there were some responses already. So it's just starting a conversation by typing the message, and that is added to the conversation history as well. So the customer is asking again the same question. But as said, and by this, the AI suggested the same response that was sent earlier. But actually, the agent can see on the history that it is there. So you can see that that's there already. So knows that it was sent already. So based on this context, can reply accordingly and send it. Let me just send it to the customer, and the conversation is just going on. And now, me as a customer, I'm opening the camera on WhatsApp and taking a photo and sending that to the agent, and that will pop up. Yeah, here we go. So the agent can see that picture that was taken by the customer immediately there, and can continue the conversation with the customer and could send back. So let me just do an extra thing here. So still the chat is on WhatsApp is live and there, but let me make a call, because this agent is configured so that can take a call when there is a chat. So as you can see, I'm prompted to answer the call, and at the moment I have two tasks. One is a WhatsApp chat, and the other is the voice call. And I can reconfigure my screen to cope with this situation, and I can have both the chat and the call on the same screen. It is color coded to make sure that the agent will know that here we are talking about two different customers. And as you can see that the agent can answer, but of course this is really up to the configuration, because it's really unique to have someone being able to multitask. But in some cases it's possible if you need to wait a lot for the callers. But you can handle the call there. And if you are with the call, there is a little pop out showing that there is a new message that was coming from the WhatsApp channel as well. I can have all those call controls here, transfer to the queue that I showed previously. Well, I can just hang up the call. I can close the call, and still I have the WhatsApp. And let me just open a simple website. So let me start a chat on the website. So this is our booth on Comsverse, so feel free to come there and visit us. So I'm just here because on the web browser, I'm anonymous. On WhatsApp, because I was there earlier, WhatsApp could recognize that I'm there, so could greet me on my name. Here, I need to enter my name and phone number. And I can then start the same bot conversation with the Q&A maker. So I'm asking now here some strange and silly questions that for some, we had the answer in the Q&A, but for this one, we don't. And because we configured so, if there is no answer within the Q&A maker, we immediately escalate this chat to an agent. So as you can see now, again, we have two tasks here. One, the old one with the WhatsApp, and the other is the new one with the web chat itself. So I can swap between these and carry on with the conversation. But as I showed you earlier on the voice call, I can also just rearrange my screen and have these conversations in parallel. And also I can see the name if that was entered, and I can identify the customer based on that. And as said, carry on with the conversation and the chat with the given customers. So as you see, then the answer arrived immediately. And so it's not really serious conversation here going on with this browser base. And as you see, again, here we have the suggested responses based on the context, and the agent can use. And if the agent wants, can type extra or delete some part of the suggested response, because it's freely there. And because now it's not really serious, then the agent will close the conversation, not the customer. And once this conversation closed, then the life cycle from the customer perspective is not yet closed, because on the flow we have a survey question on the bot. So now we are back at the bot. The agent is gone, but on the bot I can still carry on and continue. And this could be a different type of conversation as well. So as you see here, based on the outcomes, this has been updated as well. And well, my service level is better than before this session. And I have more handled core there. Good. So then go back and let me show you the BI as promised earlier. As you see, BI is embedded here on the Teams client as well. And we have some sample reports. We have a lot of data available for reports. On this one, this is a digital channel report that is showing agent versus bot, how much time was spent with agents and on the bot. So this report, for example, shows that. This other one is the number of escalated interactions to an agent. So that's also can be a good information for the digital channels. And here, this is specifically for the Q&A bot. So I can see how many unanswered and what was those unanswered occurrences. Here on the call side, usual call related, longest call wait, longest call duration, average queue time, average handle time. So these are standard call center related, traditional call related information that can be added here. And this was embedded there, but if I come to Power BI directly, these reports are there as well. So it's really up to the use case. If it's easier to use from Teams, you can do that from there. If it is easier from Power BI, then you can run it from there. And actually, this is an app in Power BI, so it's really easy to install. All you need is install this app and then give your credentials, and from that, our system will know which reports are relevant for you based on your tenant, and you can take it from there. So this is now, if you can see, is this Power BI desktop. And on Power BI desktop, we have the same reports, but because on Power BI desktop, you can also add additional report and customize those. There are some customers already, but let me just add here a donut chart. Let me make it big. And let me just show you how easy to add some extra information to the reports. So let me pick, so as you see on the right-hand side, this is where all the data that is available through our standard OData API is there, and you can use this on your own reports. We provide the data. So let me just add the name of the queues and as a legend. So let me rename to have a proper name there, not just the technical name. And let me just count with the call IDs, how many call IDs we had. So let that be the value, and this is standard Power BI stuff, so it's up to you. So you can select count distinct, for example. Let me just select that one. And here we go. We have a nice custom report. And if you want to, you can publish that directly. So let's just quickly jump to the admin interface as well. And sorry, be fast, but I'm conscious of our time here. And let me show you where this is all configured. So we have these channels here. So here, for example, we have Converse, and we have other channels as well. And the workflow behind is the same. So let me show you this one. And basically here we configured this channel to be a voice one. And this is where we configured what was the number that I dialed. So this is the call center number. And I can assign a workflow to this number. So this is a Converse demo. So if I go to that workflow, I can show you how that configured for voice. And here, the routing part that I would like to show you. We will come back here for the messaging type of workflows, but for the call-related one, we just jump to the agent, because that's where we configure the queue treatment, the selection type, so basically what to hear on the queue, how to choose the right agent. And it's important that here we set a property, converse constant equals 1. So basically, this is where we define what are the attributes that we need from the agent to be qualified to handle this type of interactions that are coming through this flow. So let me open an agent. That will be actually myself. Let me search for my name. And let me show you here. So I have some attributes and some skills. Converse is there with 5. 1 would be enough, but I have 5 here. So this will actually let the system know when we have the agent selection. There, the workflow says the required attributes, and I do have those. Also, let me just go back to the workflow and show you the digital channels as well. And let me show you how a message flow is put together. Let's go to the routing. So here we have the dialogue defined, and this is that dialogue that we had in our demo. So on the web one, we had ask name. So there is we call it the data collection bot, where we ask the name of the person, and we will store it to customer data. And in this case, it was the first name one. And if that's stored, and that was the case with WhatsApp, once the same customer comes back and we can identify, then we won't ask this name again. After we collected the name, we go to the FAQ bot. And on the FAQ bot, so this here, we can select from multiple type of bots. We selected the Q&A one. And Q&A is the one where we can configure which Q&A to be used, and this is on a configuration here on the workflow itself that Q&A enabled, and this is where we have the FAQ configuration. And as said, this is a Microsoft Q&A maker, but we do provide an interface so that we can help all the supervisors to manage the Q&A as well. So basically, we can download the Q&A from the Q&A maker, and we list it here. And if you want to update, add new one, delete, or do any modification, you can do directly from this user interface. Let me go back to the flow because we were just halfway through there. And go to, so we were here on the Q&A, and there is this confidence threshold. So on this one, we configured so if we are below 0.7, then we are immediately escalating to an agent. It could be that we are listing multiple options here, but in this one, we are spending that to the agent. And the agent configuration is the same as we've seen. So here we set the attribute, but there is an extra one that it does not end here. But once the agent part completed, we can go to the post-chat survey. And that post-chat survey is just yet another type of bot, data collection type of bot, where we have a question template. And so in this one is Facebook. I did not demo Facebook, I could. But basically, that is the name, a slightly misleading name of the data collection template. Well, I can show you how that looks like. It's a very simple one, asking one question and providing a quick response for the 1 to 5. So that's why I could just click to the buttons on the chat to quickly answer this template, and data is collected. So basically, this is how the user interface and the supervisor admin interface look like. And sorry to have this really fast introduction. Well, I was conscious of time, and I really wanted to show all the channels having the title of this presentation, the multi-channel approach. So let me continue with a very short introduction of what's under the hood. So what's behind this solution? How we call it? This is the Bazizi Orchestration Platform, and let me quickly explain what we mean by that. When we looked around, and us also being a system integrator on the contact center market, we could see that from both the customer and from the agent perspective, there are lots of solutions around and lots of changes around. So if you look from the left-hand side, from the customer perspective, these new channels are just coming. These digital channels are added to the conversation channels. On the right-hand side, we have all these applications, line of business applications, CRMs, unified communication applications, and it is usually a challenge to get all of these synchronized and connected, because there are some solutions in some places to handle one channel and the other, but sometimes these are isolated. So how we position our solution, the Bazizi Orchestration Platform, that we are on the middle to help to orchestrate this, and to have some specific solutions on top of this platform. But as we are not just helping the small mid-business and mid-sized businesses, but large enterprises as well, we are very open, and we are orchestrating and complementing the missing pieces in the environment. And the way we are doing that is based on a few pillars, actually 4 pillars that we have. And as said, it is really important to have the customer experience well managed. And this is what we call the channel connect. So this is where the social media gateways, as Facebook Messenger, Twitter direct message, Viber, WhatsApp, web channel, and for the web channel, we also provide customer user interface as well. So this will help to have good customer experience. On the right-hand side, we have, as we call it, the agent connect, and this is to help the agent experience. We are helping to agent to have a good user interface to handle all of these interactions. And this can be either by having the standalone user interface I just showed, or this can be also embedded into other UC application or into CRMs as well. The third pillar is the intelligent connect, as we call it. And this is where the real intelligence is. This is where we make these decisions. This is where we add the AI as well. So the self-service bot is here. manage the callbacks is here, have the clever decision which agent should serve this given interaction is there. So that's where the real logic is added, and that's where we are managing the interactions. There is this fourth pillar that's also very important, and this is to get all the data that was generated, and also if we can have external data, either to present that to the contact center agents and to the supervisors, or to use that as a source of AI data, or as a source of decision flows that are part of that, like doing some CRM lookups, for example, and we get the data there. And these are the building blocks that we are also using to put together this Teams contact center. So let me show you very quickly from this perspective. So basically we have those channels, including the voice through Teams. Then we have the intelligent connect for the bot, for the AI, and for the workflow that we had. And then we have the data connect with all the Power BI and the data that can be used externally as well. And on the agent connect side, I showed you the one that was embedded into Teams and the standalone one, but we also support adding that to CRM as well. As the last part of my presentation, let me have a look at the voice enterprise voice architecture. What are the scenarios that we do support? Let's just start with that one where the voice will stay at the customer premises. It's either their own data center or that data center where they are managing their direct routing. Because as you can see on this diagram, we do have the direct routing already set up here on the between the SBC of the customer. So actually here we are adding the so-called Bazizi hybrid call controller, and that is connected to the SBC through SIP. And to our data center that is in Azure and to our contact center logic, the connectivity is through Azure Service Bus. So the voice will remain on the customer premises, and we are just instructing here this small footprint hybrid component to manage the voice and have all those announcements, cue music, and all that kind of stuff. And if an agent found, then we are transferring that to direct routing, and basically I can continue this line, and this will go like that to an agent. And then the user interface through HTTPS, the secure HTTP, to the agent from our data center. And it's also important to mention that the digital channels are directly connected to our data center. So this is option one. Let's just go to the second one. And on this one, while on the previous one, you had to install a small footprint hybrid component, on this one, you don't need to do anything. You don't need to install anything. All you need is to have the contact center numbers configured on the SBC and a dial plan to be routed through SIP to our data center. And we are managing that there. And basically then the call flow is like this, then goes to SBC. Based on the dial plan, we know that this is a contact center call, goes here. We manage all the logic here. And once we found the agent, then we are transferring back and we are using this direct routing to find the agent. All the rest is the same that were before. And let me highlight that this from architecture perspective is exactly the same as the previous one. And because we are using the same call controller here on the cloud as well, it's just the only difference. This is fully managed by us, and you don't need to install anything on premises. There is a third one where we are basically connecting the contact center numbers directly to the PSTN or the SIP providers. So all those calls will immediately hit our data center, and we can set up a direct routing, and those who are taking this call, this is a carrier type of direct routing, and we can then directly route to the tenant and find the agent through the normal native Microsoft Teams call setup. So this is the third call setup. And it's really up to the given scenario which way to go. And as said, from an architecture perspective and call handling and feature set perspective, all three are exactly the same. So basically that was it. Thank you very much. If you have any questions, please join the next session or ask the question in the Q&A part of this session. And if you are interested in our product, please get in touch with us. You can find our solution on Microsoft AppSource as well, and we are proud that we are a Microsoft preferred solution on Microsoft AppSource. Thank you very much, and let's just have a look if there is any question.
Thank you, Peter. I am not seeing any questions in the Q&A. I'm going to go ahead and put the link in there now. Just hang out a bit longer.
Okay, if you want to see more and go into the details, or you are specifically interested on some of the user interfaces, feel free to join the next session, or you can also go to our booth, and we are more than happy to go into the details.
No questions here. We'll go ahead and end this event. Thank you so much, Peter.
Thank you very much. Have a good one.
Thank you, those who joined us today.